Stage, Cormac Friel.
Good evening. Thank you all so much for coming. It's a pleasure to be here, everybody. My name is Cormac Friel. This is Breakfast Epiphanies. I was bullied as a child. That's where we're going to start tonight, okay? We're going to start off light, guys. That's how it's going to happen. I am actually going to start off with bullying. There's a reason for that. Everything I'm going to discuss with you in the show wouldn't have happened were it not for the bullying that I suffered in my teenage years. A lot of people, first question comes to mind is, why were you bullied as a kid? And I don't know. I look back, I don't think I fit in very well in Ireland as a teenager. I was sober and didn't work. And then they always ask, you know, oh, so what type of bullying were you subjected to? Was it emotional? Was it physical? Was it verbal? And I say, no, none of those. And then they say, well, what the hell happened to you? And I say, well, I'd be in this queue. Be in a queue, and there'd be a person in front of me. And someone else would show up to this queue, and they wouldn't stand behind me. They'd turn to the person before, yes, undress, it's warm. This person would show up to the queue, and they'd say, hey, if you let me go in front of you, I'll let you go back in front of me. They'd say this to the person in front of me. And for no apparent reason whatsoever, that person would agree to it. They'd do this exchange, smile smugly, and I'd be in third place. That was it. Now, then they all say, oh, that sounds terrible. Did you tell an adult? I say, no. They say, were you afraid to? I say, no, I didn't have a fucking case. I'm not sure what I was supposed to say. Any teachers present in the room? What was I supposed to say? Hey, miss, I'm sorry, these guys are bullying me. I'd really like you to put a stop to it. What are they doing, Cormac? Well, they're exploiting a seemingly legal loophole in queuing etiquette and costing me a bit of time. We've got latecomers! Shame. That is a wonderful laugh. I might hire that out. Oh, I see you. That guy has come from America, haven't you?
Yes.
That's why you're late, of course.
Long trip.
Basically, I was bullied as a child. You're on point. Okay. Then they always say, well, how did you get over all this bullying? You know, like, what did you do? And I say, well, I moved to the UK where their laws of queuing are more stringently adhered to. And that's how I did it. The thing is that bullying that I suffered, it's not the worst thing you'll have ever heard of. It's not the worst bullying by any stretch of the imagination. But what that makes you feel is invisible. You feel like you are nothing. They didn't acknowledge my existence. And that meant gave me this complex to grow up and make something of myself, become extremely rich or extremely famous, so that those people who bullied me would think, oh shit, I should have made friends with Cormac Friel when I had the chance. And I decided, first of all, I'll become really rich. I thought, that'll suit me, I'll become really rich, they'll be really jealous. But then I saw there was a flaw, because they had to know I was rich for me to win. It wasn't enough for me to be rich, they had to know about it. And the only way you can know someone else is rich is if you see them in the rich list. Problem being is my bullies weren't a broadsheet buying type. So that was scuppered. I had to go for fame. And I was going to become famous, and that meant winning either an Olympic gold medal or an Oscar. That's perfectly, look at me, I could do either of those things. Well, both of them, of course. I'm going to actually take this opportunity to little interactions with you. Has anyone here had drama lessons in school? Oh, a flurry of hands are shooting up. Did any of you go to school in Scotland? One. Okay, you are a trendsetter, my dear. No one else has been to school in Scotland and has had drama lessons. This is my second to last night at the Fringe, and you're the first. Scotland have not been investing in the arts.
I went to private school.
Well, there we go. Boo! Boo, you don't get to speak anymore. That's your bit done. Okay. That's all we fucking did. We pronounced words correctly for an hour a week. Given we grew up in Donegal on Ireland, probably not a bad use of time. We never progressed beyond that, though. We digressed to mime. I think the teacher figured, if any of these poor little bastards ever get out of this shithole, the art of mime is their best hope of being understood. Unfortunately, the woman was proven correct, because when I did leave Ireland, I went over here to Scotland for university. Don't cheer too soon. You have no idea where I went to university yet. I decided I wanted to do maths and chemistry, and I went to a university that I thought looked very good for both of those. And I ended up applying for St Andrews University. some fellow alumni in tonight. That's not usually the reaction that gets. I usually get a very different reaction when I say St Andrews University. If none of you are aware, that's the university that Prince William went to. I've never mentioned this in previous years that I went to St Andrews. A few faces in the crowd I recognise you've been to my last 2 shows. I didn't mention St Andrews then, and there's a reason for that. Last 2 years I was on the free fringe. And when you're on the free fringe, you rely on donations. Scottish people do not donate to people who went to St Andrews. This year you've all prepaid, so bollocks to you. I went to St Andrews. Now, I didn't do any research on the place. I knew that Prince William had been there, but I didn't know that every other tweed-wearing, cigar-smoking landowning toff had been there too. And I looked at the prospectus and I thought, this place seems nice. I bet I'll fit in there. And then I went over to St Andrews. Yeah,